All right, here we go. Question number 15 from our 0314, homework number 3 in MyLab Math. And the instructions just say factor. So they don't give me any indication as to how it's going to factor. I'm expected to know how to factor this, okay? And then it says the completely factored form is. So whatever I do, it's going to be factored completely. All right, first thing, how many terms do I have? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So that's probably an indication of factor by grouping. But the first thing I notice really is that this is not in descending order. So when you factor a polynomial expression, really it needs to be in descending order. So that is going to be my first step. We're going to rewrite in descending order. 12a to the third minus 21a to the second plus 36a minus 63. So now that it's in descending order, I'm going to first look for a common factor. So is there anything that will divide evenly into 12, 21, 36, and 63? And I'm thinking maybe 3. 3 does. So let's check that. All right. So, and just so you know, the 63 doesn't have an A. So I'm not going to be able to factor an A out of all 4 terms. They all 4 have to have it or I can't factor it out. So we're going to check for a common factor of 3 first. So does 12 divide by 3? Yeah, 4a squared. I'm sorry, a cubed. 21 divided by 3, 7a squared. 36 divided by 3, that's 12a. And then 63 divided by 3, that is 21. And so they did have a common factor, and that has to come first. Just so you know, factor out has to come first. Now, next step. The 4 terms that are left in the parentheses, I don't see any other common factor. And so now we're going to do factor by grouping. So that this 3 that I factored out, he's now going to have to stay out front all the way down, okay? Looking at 4a to the third minus 7a squared, what do they have in common that I can factor out? They have an a squared. If I take out an a squared, that's going to leave me 4a minus 7. In the second group, what divides evenly into 12 and 21? What divides evenly into 12 and 21? Well, I think 3 does. So we're going to be able to take out a 3. 3 goes into 12 4 times, leaves me a 4a. 3 goes into 21 7 times, leaves me a 7. And now if you remember from the previous video, I said when you factor by grouping, the stuff in the parentheses has to match. And it does. And so that gives me a good indication that I'm on the right track. All right, next step. Remember the 3 comes down. And now we're going to look at this term and this term. And we're going to say, what do they have in common? Well, they have the 4a minus 7 in common that I'm going to factor out. So if I factor 4a minus 7 out of these 2 terms, what does that leave me with? Well, it leaves me a squared plus 3, and that is now factored completely. And I know that because a squared plus 3, this is not going to factor. And 4a minus 7, that's a linear term. That's not going to factor. So this is factored completely. And let's see if we're right. 3, 4a minus 7, and a squared plus 3. Man, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put those in the comment section below, or you can text me. And thanks for watching.